a number of things I need to explain to you, which are not very obvious from these slides, which in a computer, there are things we just cannot do, and this slide does not make that very clear. So what I'm going to do is show you in Python how to do the coding, but before I go into the coding, I'm going to show you the method that is going to be chosen and the issues that surround it. So I've got a new Python file here, and really what I'm going to do is let's just copy this as our data. So I'm going to have an array of 2, 6, 9, 12, 16, 18, 20, 23, 45 and 99, as we did with the linear search. And I'm also going to say that the item that I'm going to search for is the number 9, just as they have looked for it in this program. So they're looking for the value 9. Whoops, there we go. How to search for the number 9 in that list. So I'm going to take you through that method. So my item is 9, and that is my list or array. Now I'm using these words interchangeably. I really shouldn't. That's quite bad of me. I'm going to stick with the term array for the work that we're doing, but I am going to refer to why a list and array are different shortly. But before I go any further, what I'm going to do is have a second window open so that we can see all this. We can compare methods. So you don't have to do this at all. This is just teaching material as opposed to programming material. So this is just a case of watching at the moment. So if I copy those and put them in the right hand side, then I can show you the difference between the programming and the algorithmic methods that we are using. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that this is an array. And an array is fixed in length, always. If I was using a list, then a list is something we call dynamic. In other words, it can change. Whereas the fixed one can't change its length. And we call that static. So the two words here are static and dynamic. Now, when we are programming, the majority of languages up and down the country that are being used for the exam are using the word array, which is static. The method that they have shown you here, that you should do on paper, actually is dynamic. It's different. So they're actually using a list, but the exam will use an array. If I've lost you at this point, don't worry. I'm just pointing out that the programming problems that we have. If you understand, then that's great. If you don't understand, hopefully it will become clear as we go through the methods. And if it's still not clear at the end of the day, don't worry. Just do the method that I show you in the video where I do it by hand, that you'll pick up a little bit later. But I'm going through this because I want you to understand the differences. So this is the first one. We have a static data type, which is an array, or we have a dynamic data type, which is a list. Python can operate with lists. We know it's a list. So actually we could, if we really wanted to, is perform the same method that is on the the slides. However, as I've pointed out, the majority of languages up and down the country don't use lists, so we are going to concentrate on something called an array, where you cannot change it, and that changes our computational thinking. This is what makes the algorithmic thinking different to the computational thinking. So the way that we program it is different to the way we write the algorithm. So we'll start looking at that in the next video.